there, storytellers! Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can tell from the title down below, is going to be a quick little review. Now, you may have noticed as well that it says 5x5, and for those of you who are unfamiliar to my little brand of reviewing, it is a sort of condensed review of 5 things I liked about a novel and 5 things I didn't like. It just helps me keep it concise and a little bit shorter so that I have less time to ramble. And before I have time to do that now, without any further ado, let me tell you what book I am going to be giving this review today. And it is one that I was very, very excited to get. You might have heard me talk about it. You probably did. It's Anyway the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. This is the last novel in the Simon Snow trilogy. It is a little bit sad. As somebody who, I think I was a little bit late to the game discovering Carry On, Wayward Son I got when it came out, and to be perfectly honest, when I read Wayward Son, this hadn't been announced, so I was under the impression that Wayward Son was going to be the end of Simon Snow, that it was just a little duology, and the way it ended, it would have driven me mad. I would have been so upset if it left on that cliffhanger. It definitely could have. Books do it all the time. They leave on crazy cliffhangers and you're just stuck. But as fate would have it, as soon as I finished Wayward Son, I hopped online. I was like, she can't end it here. I need more. And I saw the announcement for Anyway the Wind Blows, so I have been highly anticipating this for a long time. This picks up at the end of Wayward Son. The gang is headed back to England. Wayward Son takes place in America. They are a little over a year out of Watford School for Magics, so they're kind of done with that chapter of their lives, or so they think. Something goes on that brings them back home, back to Watford, and that's really all I can say without spoiling the book, which is why I'm doing a 5x5, because if I do a full-on review, I cannot keep myself from spoiling this book, because I will just say I absolutely loved it. 5 stars. I am so just attached to Simon and Baz. They are such a warm, happy place for me, even when they're going through tons of drama, and they do. Trust me. They are just a comforting spot. So, absolutely loved this book. Fun fact, I learned that, like my boyfriend, Simon Snow, is a Cancer. And I really should have put that together sooner, because I was like, okay, why do I love him so much? That's why. He's a Cancer. I do love me the Cancers. Why do I connect so much with Baz? Apart from the fact that we both have dark hair and are slightly broody, he's Pisces. So not an exact match, but he's a water sign. So it's a water sign couple. Need I say more? I fully vibed hardcore. Without any further ado, I'm rambling. Like I said I wouldn't. Let's get into the 5x5. I don't really have anywhere else to set them while I talk, but there they are in the background. And I have handy dandy notes because, like I said, we tend to ramble. Let's kick things off with the dislikes. Yeah, I think I want to end on a happy note, so I'm going to start with what I didn't like about this book. Number 1, a development in Agatha's character arc seemed a tad out of nowhere. And to elaborate, while we get more of Agatha's arc in this novel, and I was actually surprisingly enjoying it, she's a lot sassier when she has time to just breathe, and I appreciate that about her hardcore. And I did like a lot of the arc that she went on. I liked that she kind of had her own journey apart from Simon. But there was a moment that happens that I don't want to say it wasn't built up, because in the context of this singular novel, it was alluded to. But in the context, the greater context of the trilogy, I didn't personally feel there was a ton of context clues. I wouldn't necessarily say there were none, but they bordered on stereotypical cues for the event that takes place. I don't want to ruin it. I don't know how to describe this without spoiling it, but that's just, it was a moment that I didn't hate. I liked the moment. I just felt like it came from nowhere a little bit. the theme of my comments are going to be really slightly confusing and vague because I can't spoil anything for you guys. Number 2, slightly similar vein, there was a lot going on for Simon, like a lot. He had his hands were juggling, basically. His hands were in several pots. The boy had plenty to keep organized. And there's this big moment that happens for him, and it kind of happens near the end. And we don't really get to see how that plays out for him. And I guess you could argue that Rainbow Rowell didn't want that to be the big part of it. You know, like she didn't want that to be the main thing. But it was slightly frustrating because it is something that has been building since book 1. It is knowledge that the reader has that Simon does not. And he learns some stuff about himself that the reader also already knows. So it's this big built-up moment for the readers. Like, we are waiting for this to happen. Simon doesn't know it's coming, so I wanted to see him react to it a little bit more than I got to see him react to it. He had a lot of reacting to do, so it's fine. But I had wanted it for him for so long that by the time we got there, I was just mad I didn't get more. Number 3, the antagonist of this novel has some chapters, so you get their point of view. For those of you who don't know, these books are written in first-person point of view, so whenever you're getting a certain character's focus, you are getting their thoughts. And you do get the antagonist, and it's annoying because their chapters allude to a bigger bad than I felt like they actually did. Like, they're, like, the reveal of the big bad wasn't super climactic. Their big kind of climactic moment wasn't as climactic for me because it seemed like there was a greater plan at work than was actually explained to have been at work. Does that make sense? Like, when it's revealed and the plot gets uncovered, it was less plot and more just radical thinker kind of doing their things radically. I don't know. Maybe it's me being nitpicky. Maybe I missed a detail. But anyway, it was just something that it just didn't hit the climax, like, oh, what kind of moment for me. Number 4. Again, with the implications that things are gonna be things, and then they're not. Fiona, Baz's aunt, she keeps getting brought up, and she does have a role to play in this novel, but it's not, like maybe it was me building it up, maybe it was just the phrasing, and I was reading too much into it, but it seemed like there was a plot happening with Fiona's end as well, and her plot's just, again, not that exciting to me. I don't know what to say without spoiling things. What was going on with Fiona wasn't as nefarious as I first thought it would be, and I was a little disappointed, honestly, because she seems like somebody who knows how to have a good time, and I was kind of hoping she would. Okay, number 5, rounding out my last dislike for this novel, and it's kind of a big one. I hugely dislike that so many of the adults in this novel treat Simon and Baz and Penelope as if they've done things wrong the entire time. Let me elaborate. In this book, they're in their 20s, they're adults. You can hold them accountable for their choices that they've made. But so much of what adults say and bring up and like nitpick at them about happened when they were kids, doing what they were told to try to make someone proud, be it their parents, be it the mage, be it Fiona. They were all making choices that they thought they were supposed to be making because the people who were mentoring them were pushing them to make those choices. You know, even if their mouths were saying no, their actions were saying, please, you're doing exactly what we want you to do. Please keep doing it. And it left them all a little bit messed up. And the fact that the adults kind of brushed that aside, like, you know what, you could have said no at any time. Do you know how hard it is for 11-year-olds to say no to grown-ups? It's not as easy as it might sound. I know they're angsty and they say no about a lot of things, but if you're trying to make someone proud, saying no does not seem like an option. And the fact that the adults just kind of gaslit them all about their time as children doing crazy things in the world of mages, it pushed the wrong button for me. Transitioning into my likes, and I'm going to piggyback off of my last point, which was that I dislike the fact that so many of the adults acted like these kids should have been in control of themselves and their emotions and their choices when they were 13 and just doing what they were told, and act like it shouldn't affect them now that they're 20 and realizing that they were just doing what they were told and that they actually didn't believe in a lot of the things they believed in. The one adult who doesn't do that is Lady Ruth, and I love her. She's such a gem. That's all I can say. She's the sweetest, and she just treats them all like they deserve to be treated. She's like, you know what? You've been through so much. We can't ask any more of you. The fact that you still want to help people after all you've been through is just a testament to your little hearts. And that's a testament to her little... I loved her. She's a bonus like. She doesn't count, but she's going to help me segue into the likes because I liked her a lot. Okay, like number one, I alluded to this a little bit briefly when I was describing my dislike within Agatha's arc, but overall, I absolutely loved that Penny and Agatha kind of had their own arcs. Did they end up entangled in what Simon had going on? Yes, of course they did, because they're part of his life, so they will probably always end up entangled in what he has going on. But they both kind of had their own independent growth. Like I said, Agatha's a lot sassier when she's left to her own devices, and I appreciate that about her so much. And Penny has time not to grow apart from Simon, but just to remember that she's not great because of Simon. She's not great because Simon's her friend. She's great because she's Penelope, and she has these fantastic, wild, out there ideas, and she's ballsy enough to go for it. And I just liked seeing both girls sort of come into their own independently of Simon and kind of come back together to be part of his life, a little bit stronger of a unit. It was good. Speaking of growths in relationships, I absolutely appreciated the growth between Simon and Baz. They kind of figure out that they're attracted to each other. I mean, Baz already knows in Carry On, and Simon kind of figures it out. And Wayward Son, Simon's sort of reeling from the events of Carry On, so he's not really invested in his relationship, despite the fact that Baz is trying to be. And the fact that they're kind of able to come together and address each other and say, you know what, you haven't been available for me in these ways that I need, and I haven't been available for you in the ways that you need. How can we start to fix this? How can we really try to build our relationship to something that, you know, we're both aspiring for it to be, instead of just sort of hopping into the passion and hoping it gets there? The fact that they take time to have conversations and find out more quirks about each other, and like they were roommates, right, for years. So in terms of like style quirks and how they like the bedroom, they know all those tiny little things about each other. But emotional quirks take so much longer to figure out, and I liked that they took the time to start to do that. And I liked the pacing of their relationship. They very easily could have skipped over all the issues, but they don't. Sometimes it seems like they're starting to, but usually one of them steers the conversation back into something a little bit more important and grounded, and I appreciated that journey. Like number 3, I absolutely appreciate that Basilton Grimpitch gets his little moment to sort of rectify all the behavior that he put on at Watford when they were younger, because he was trying to make his Aunt Fiona proud. He makes some choices that, now that he's older, now that he's reflecting, he would have never made, and he admits that he would have never done it, except that he was trying to please her. He wanted to sort of impress somebody because he doesn't have a parental figure. One of his main parental figures, I should say, has passed on, and so he can't impress her, so he's trying to impress his aunt, who is his mother's sister. It's the closest thing he has, and he just wants to do right by her in his mother's memory, and he admits when he's older that a lot of the stuff he wouldn't have done, and he didn't mean it while he was doing it. But he gets the moment to sort of address that and to rectify a past mistake, and I really liked seeing that, because it didn't, like, sunshine and roses necessarily didn't happen, you know, but he got to do a little bit of growing, and he got to at least show that he was trying to be a better person, and I liked that. Like number 4, I've mentioned Simon had a heck of a lot going on his plate, and a lot of it was really emotional, and that was hard, because if you get to know Simon in the first book at all, you know that thinking and dealing with things in a logical or emotional manner, not his strong suit. Can he swing a sword at it? Because if so, that's the plan he's going with. That's the easiest option for him. He just wants to barrel his problems away, and he can't do that in this one, more so than ever before. And I liked the fact that he was forced to confront himself, and he couldn't barrel past his own emotions because he didn't have something to focus on, some big bad to fight in the same way that he's used to. So I liked that he was forced to grow emotionally, and that it just, oh, I love him. He's so sweet cinnamon roll, and he's been through so much, and he keeps taking hits, and he has to go through so much, and he's still such a sweet soul, and I liked his little emotional journey that poor Rainbow Rowell drug him through, because it was so much. He has to rectify the feeling of having lost something and still being part of the thing he lost, and he doesn't know how to do that. It's a hard thing to do. I don't know that anyone would do it gracefully per se, but I think he handles it really well, and I was impressed with him, his little journey. Like I said, sweet cinnamon roll went through. They're both sweet cinnamon rolls. They went through so much. Okay, coming up on like number 5, last but not least, and this may be controversial to say because I am definitely sad that it's over, but I really liked the ending. I liked the story as it is. I think Rainbow Rowell wrapped it up exactly where she was supposed to. Could she have kept going? Of course. There was other stuff that could have happened. They're in a magical world. You can keep the threats going all you want. But I think where she ended it is where the characters needed to end. And I think there's strength in knowing when to end your story. And she did it right, in my opinion. She left it where it could be. She didn't leave it in a way that closed the door on them forever. I've seen in an interview that even she doesn't think she's closed the door on them forever, but she's closed the door on them for now, and I think they've wrapped where they needed to wrap, and I'm really happy. You know, I think when books end where you don't expect them to, or in an unsatisfactory way, even if the ending is good, if it feels like you're still missing something, that's what tends to create that, I think, reading slump where you're just searching for the next thing that's similar to this book. And I grant you, I did that with Carry On and Wayward Son. I was searching for things that hit those vibes, and I expected to do it with this one, but I didn't. I actually feel like I've kind of made peace with Simon Snow and Baz, and I feel like they've kind of made peace, and I like leaving it there. Plus, I can always go back and reread it. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by leaving a like down below. And if you want to keep up with me and all of my bookish adventures, you can go ahead and click the subscribe button. And I highly, highly recommend that you ring the little bell so that you don't miss a beat. It will notify you as soon as I post a new video. And next Friday will be that next video for you, because I do post videos every Friday. I am currently waiting on my June Owl Crate box to arrive. They had some delays in shipping, you know, everything's coming back to normal since the pandemic, so things are still kind of a mess, but they've been shipping them out, I think, already, so I'm expecting it soon. I am hoping to have that June Owl Crate unboxing for you guys next week, but if not, who knows? We'll all find out. But for now, that is the plan. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!